Well, you've decided to hire a band for your wedding. You are so excited you can barely stand it. Hey, I'm Kelly, and welcome to the show. For nearly 20 years, I've led bands and performed at countless events working with clients just like you. Well, we're going to talk about how you can determine in advance what's going to cost to have a band at your wedding and what fits into your budget. But let's pause all this excitement because there are a few questions you need to ask yourself before you head on out on that wonderful search of yours. Things that may affect the cost and some negotiating tips. Now, when people think of having a band for their wedding, they're typically thinking of three things: the cocktail hour, the ceremony, and the reception. However, there are so many things within that wonderful day that might actually be more cost effective. You see, different parts of a wedding require different types of music. There's tons of options, but there are some factors that will affect your costs, and so we kind of need to talk about those. It's not quite as cut and dry as you may think. There's more to it. How long do you want the band to perform? The next thing you want to ask yourself is, do you want one or two musicians or a full band? Because the number of musicians typically affects the pricing. More musicians, more people to pay. Next thing is, do you have any special requests? Are you having your event during the week or on the weekend? Now, you would think that wouldn't make much of a difference, but it does, because the rates are typically lower throughout the week. Weekends are prime time for a band. The frequency of them being hired throughout the week is a little bit lower. As a result of that, they may be able to cut you a break in terms of the cost. Consider maybe having your wedding on a Monday through Thursday. I know that may not be convenient, but it may save you in the pocket. Will your wedding take place in the winter, spring, or fall? Bands are usually rolling hot in the spring and summertime. Those are when their schedules are really getting kind of booked. Are you hiring someone locally, or will they need to travel? There's a certain radius that they will travel, and you won't incur any kind of cost. Next thing is, do you need someone to MC? Meaning, if you need like something simple, not a problem. But if you need more complex MC in addition to performing for you, they will also have to concentrate on your schedule, possibly even coordinating with other vendors that you have to make sure that everything is timed perfectly. Or they'll hire another person to do the MC work for them. That may be an extra cost, so make sure you ask your band how they manage those type of things. The next thing you need to consider is how large of an area they're going to be performing in. The size of the room makes an enormous difference when it comes to the amount of sound equipment needed. Typically, the larger the space, the more equipment needed. And take in mind, they're going to need to know if the outlets are 25 feet away or 100 feet away. Like, they're going to need to know these logistics. If you're hiring a band and they are not talking about those kind of things, that's a red flag for you. That's something you ought to be nervous about. They don't have any clue what they're doing. Think about it. Do you want just standard lighting? And what I mean by standard lighting is one light on either side of the stage. But if you want something elaborate, like fog machines and moving pin lights, light production costs quite a bit. Do you need extra microphones for toast? Some bands will throw that kind of thing right on in the package, and some will charge extra. I can't stress enough how important it is to be open and honest about what you want up front. The next thing is, do you need them to wear special attire? Now, look, every person in a professional band has a nice suit, have a nice cocktail dress of some sort, but if you're looking at black tie tux and ball gowns, that's a different ball game, and it may come with a different price tag. Those are some of the things that are going to affect your price. Let's take a really close look at exactly what you're paying for. Then we'll discuss how you can save some money. How's that sound? So let's start here with the cost breakdown. Now, the goal with this is to make sure you understand what you think you're paying for and how that same thing translates to a band. Having this knowledge, you'll understand why bands will typically run you anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 depending on where you live. And I know that sounds exorbitant, I'm here to provide awareness behind the dollars that you're spending. So let's start off with a scenario that might help you understand this better. You've decided to hire a local band. You've requested that they have standard lighting. You want 2 or 3 requested songs, normal dressy attire, minimal announcements, and just a standard PA system. Nothing magical is needed. So both your wedding and your reception are going to be taking place in the same location. You've asked the musicians to bring equipment and set up, early in the day so they don't interfere with anything going on with the wedding, which is completely understandable. And then they can just return later when it's time for them to perform for the 4 hours. So your budget that you've shared with them is $1,000, which, don't get me wrong, that's nothing to shake a stick at. And it feels like a lot to pay, right? But let's break down exactly what this wedding day looks like from the band's perspective. Now, you might be thinking $1,000 for 4 hours of time. That seems like more than fair, which I get, but I need you to think about something. They are going to need time to rehearse these special songs that you want, and most bands will give it anywhere from 3 to 6 hours for those songs that you want at your wedding. This is a special day and you don't want it messed up, and they don't want to mess up anything for you. So they're going to dedicate time to make sure everything is seamless. Then on the wedding day, they have to load up their gear, travel to the venue early in the day, set everything up, do a sound check, and then leave and wait until it's time for them to play. They give you a high energy performance for 4 hours, and then they pack everything back up and leave. In our example, a 4-hour performance for a band actually translates into about a 14-hour workload for them. If you're paying a 5-piece band $1,000, that roughly breaks down into about $200 per musician. $200 a head, you've played for 4 hours, that's pretty good, right? That's like $50 an hour, right? No, it's not. That $200 that they've made covers the 14 hours of time they've put in, from the time they've taken to learn all these songs, loading in, setting up, leaving, returning, performing, packing it up, and leaving again. They also have business expenses, just like any other business. And all of that comes out of that $200. Now, if you take that $200 and divide that by 14 hours, you've now paid that professional musician $14 an hour. Now I have to ask you, would you pay a seasoned photographer, a top-notch wedding planner, or any other experienced professional in a specialized field $14 an hour? I don't think you would. I think not. Although it doesn't change the weight of the amount that you may have to pay, I hope that does put some things into perspective. So let's make the dollars make sense and explore some more budget-friendly things that you might negotiate with a band to help you stay inside your budget. Now, negotiating with a band is an excellent skill to have. In our next episode, it's called Negotiating with Bands, Get the Best Deal. We're going to explore in detail some of those negotiation tips, such as shortening the band's time for performing and how to go about doing that so you don't lose the quality of your performance, how to negotiate a discounted rate, red flags that you got to watch out for when it comes to bands so you don't get taken out with the wash. If you'd like a personal guidance, visit our website for a free consultation, moonlighters.live/free band consultation. I didn't have a whole lot of creativity there, but you understand. The reality is I see too many people get poor service when they didn't need to. Music plays such an important role in an event. It's absolutely crucial to get the right performer, and I want the best for the folks that are listening in. There are so many moving pieces, it's very easy to get overwhelmed, and there's no need to. I'm here, and I'm willing to just donate my time because that's how important I think it is. So do what you like. The link is below. If you want to get some help, reach out. If you're good with just listening and taking notes, fantastic. It's whatever's going to be easiest and best for you. Anyway, until next time.